Hello and welcome back to Jack Knives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jack Knives. It's Valentine's Day once again over here at Jack Knives Reviews, but I decided to do one that's not just a great date night movie. It's honestly one of the most powerful romance movies I've ever seen in the past several years. And it's not just Valentine's Day, it's also A24 time. Let's take a look at the new romantic movie from A24 that asks what happens after Happily Ever After. In Eternity. In an afterlife where souls have limited time to decide where to spend eternity, Larry meets up with his wife and love of his life, Joan, who also passed away. However, also waiting there is Luke, her first husband, who died years before Larry in a war and has been waiting for her all this time. Joan has to ultimately make the decision between the love that she had or the love that she could have. This movie was directed by somewhat first-time director David Fern. The reason I say somewhat is he's only done about 2 movies roughly, and unfortunately they're so low underground I really haven't seen or heard any, so I kind of am going into this blind. I mainly wanted to see this because the story sounded intriguing. I'm not really one for rom-coms unless kind of outside of the ballpark of what I'm accustomed to with the typical rom-com format, and I feel like this movie tackles that sort of subject in a heavy but realistic and funny kind of way, dealing with the concepts of what happens after we die, and what if we lose people along the ways of life, and what if we make promises that we never really thought about in our life, and the consequences of that, and the burdens of guilt. And it's so heavy, the subject that it talks about. What does it mean to truly love someone? And not in a lovey-dovey, kissy sort of way, in an actual legitimate way. The movie centers around 3 main characters. Larry, who died of old age, Joan, who was his wife for a long time and had children and grandchildren with, and Luke, the first husband she had who died in the war at a young age. And he's been waiting for her this whole time, presumably. To see them all come to the afterlife, and essentially she's basically forced to make an impossible choice between what could have been and what was beautiful. It's a very, very heavy subject, but it's done in a beautifully honest way. Watching this movie really makes you empathize with everyone, because no one is bad in this movie. Like, no one is a horrible person. It's all a series of circumstances, and unfortunately, everyone got dealt a bad hand, pretty much. It keeps you on your toes. The whole movie keeps you on your toes. I'm not really familiar with Callum Turner, who played Luke. He did bring this real mature gravity to his character. It felt like a person who was from another time. Larry, played by Miles Teller, on the other hand, is he's a very well-established actor. I loved him in Whiplash, and he's done so many other roles that I liked. Here, his character Larry is trying to figure out everything that's going on. I mean, he has this curiosity to his character that feels like almost a proxy to us, the audience. Like, we're still trying to figure out what exactly is going on, like how the rules of this world work, and what is black and white, what isn't. And it's very complicated, and the way they establish this world, this afterlife, is very interesting. It feels more like being in the airport, or feeling like being in a queue at a really packed DMV. It's very weird the way they did it. I feel like some points of it feels like not as fantastical as, like, say, a movie like What Dreams May Come, where it's so abstract and trying to do deeper dives than it really did. But this feels more like, very weird comparison. There's an episode of Supernatural where they go to heaven, and their version of heaven is seeing the memories of their most happy moments. So getting to relive those happy moments and places, that's essentially what happens in this movie, is they get to go to these experiences and relive them, or see these things that they experienced and cherished, and kind of cherry pick like the best of their lives. But then you have a character like Luke who really didn't get that much experience. It's bittersweet. The movie centers around Joan, played by Elizabeth Olsen, and she carries this movie with a very heavy gravity, like a very heavy attitude, the way she talks, the way she presents herself. You can tell, even though obviously Elizabeth Olsen isn't that old, she's been through a lot. Like, she has experienced both of them in her lives, and it weighs on her. It draws this conclusion, this story just further and further. I feel like this is a movie that every couple should watch. Primarily long-term couples, married couples. It's a movie that really, really tackles the subject of finding love in the afterlife. Like, I know we say happily ever after, and we say till death do us part, but this movie has the question asked, okay, what after? It does it in a way that doesn't feel cheesy. It does not feel inorganic. And I think that's what I liked about it. There's some comedic moments to it here and there, a little bit, just a little sprinkling of humor, but nothing too over the top. This is definitely one of A24's best movies. It's a movie I cannot recommend enough. It is probably up there with one of the best romantic movies I've ever seen. And if you really want a nice date night movie with your loved one that you've been with for a long time, and you're okay with a little heavy subjects, this one might be for you. I give Eternity 5 out of 5. Have you seen Eternity? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to stab that subscribe button, slice that like button, and have a happy Valentine's Day.